Hey, a lot of you have talked to me about trapping hogs. I get some emails and some questions about it. And I'm going to show you the setup that we're using. This is not a trap that I built. This is on a farm over here that the owner has been using this trap for years. This particular trap's caught several hundred hogs. It's a corral trap. I'm going to show you how it's set up and how we're using it to catch a lot of hogs at one time. All right, this is how we got it set up. Behind me up the hill here is a feeder about 80 yards. This is an old deer food plot, wasn't planted last year. Now this particular trap's been here for a long time. It's built in around the trees. There's a little bit of cover around it, which the hogs are comfortable with. So I set the feeder, filled it up, and let it run for about a week. Got the hogs coming in on it really good, set a game camera up to see how many we had, and there's several really big groups. So what I did after about a week is I started trailing corn, just scatter corn out going to your trap. And I scattered it up around the trap and even in the trap, but I propped the door open, and for about 4 or 5 days, I let the pigs clean this trap out. They'd come in here, they'd eat it, and then once they got good and comfortable with it, we set the trap. Now I know some of you are using box traps. I find a lot of box traps on properties that I'm showing, and there's a couple of big problems with box traps. Number one, you typically don't catch more than a few hogs at a time, if that many, usually one. The other problem is in this part of the state, there's a lot of black bear. And if you put enough corn in there and there's enough black bears around, you're going to catch one eventually, and then what are you going to do? Even worse, what are you going to do if you pull up and there is a black bear cub in the trap? You've got a real problem on your hands. So for that reason, I only use corral traps. Now if you look back behind me, you'll see the trigger, a couple of pieces of rebar with the trigger stick in it and a rope holding the gate up. This is a 6-foot gate. If you're going to build a corral trap, go ahead and build one with a wide gate. Hogs typically don't run into a trap single file. If there's enough corn in there, they're all going to go in. And put your bait behind the trigger. A little bit of corn out in front, none where the gate's going to fall, some around the trigger, and then a lot behind the trigger. That way you'll get as many hogs as possible in there, and when the gate falls, there won't be one in there that keeps it open for the rest of them to get out. Now when you're going to build a corral trap, I recommend building one like this. If you look at this pen, there is a gate behind the trigger. And that gate is there, it has a rope attached to it, so that when you catch hogs in the trap, you can then pull that rope, open that gate, and let them into the other side and hold them there. You can see they're in there eating a bunch of corn and feed and pears that I threw out for them. They're live bait. Once they're on that side, there's another rope. You simply pull the gate shut, and then you've got hogs in a pen. Put some hay in there for them to lay on. They've got some water buckets in there. Throw them some feed every day. What that does is the rest of the hogs that are coming to this particular feeder, they're going to see this group of hogs coming in. And this group of hogs is going to be laying around middle of the night. They're not going to be excited, not going to be spooked. That's going to get more pigs to come into this trap. So we caught 17 the first time. And there's more hogs in different groups coming into this trap. So I'm going to leave these hogs in here for about a week. And sometime during that week, we're more than likely going to catch 3 or 4 more hogs in the trap itself. Now, this last piece, it's a matter of personal preference. I found that it works better. The only 2 right angles in this are where the holding pin and the trap are joined. Everything else is rounded off because pigs will run to a corner and pile up in it. And if you get a couple of big ones in there running and ramming in that corner trying to get away from you, they could tear it up. It's easier, just make it round, don't give them a place to go. Let them run and circle in the pen, keep them from piling up against the side, and your trap will last a lot longer. So we also have a gate on the back side for getting them out. If you want to back a trailer up to it, you can. Otherwise, just rope them and tie them. If you want to get in there and grab them, feel free. But this is how we do it. If you need any help or have any questions, give me a call, 850-527-9758. Or you can shoot me an email, jerry@landandstand.com. Good luck trapping your hogs.